think I'm qualified.
Okay, thank you very much. And finally, Ms. Balance.
The reason why I'm running is probably the same reason why I ran 3 years ago, and that is to see that all the children get a fair and adequate public education. And we deliver to them the best education that we possibly can with the tax dollars that we have. And that also the school committee and the administration operates with full transparency and accountability. My experience, I have worked in the business and business finance world all my life. And I've had 3 years on the school committee. I'm extremely familiar with policy and procedure. And if anybody knows my record, I pretty much stand up for what I believe in, regardless of how unpopular it may sound at times. That's it.
Thank you, candidates. Mr. Hebda, as a candidate running for public office, what specifically will you do to bring the town back together? And again, is that even possible?
Well, I think in terms of the school, I understand everything that's been going on the town side. And with the schools, we don't have that luxury of being able to have divisions. We only have one grammar school, one middle school, one high school, and all our kids go there, regardless of who they support or what side they're on. It's every child that goes to those schools deserves the same quality of education. So in terms on the school committee side, we're not facing that same division. I think the division we have to face within the schools is everyone feeling like they're being stressed. The teachers, the administration, the taxpayers. We have to realize we're all sharing in this, and we're trying to do our best to really give our kids the best education we can.
Thank you. Mrs. Bartholomew, to restate, as a candidate running for public office, what specifically will you do to bring the town back together, and is that even possible?
I think the purpose of school committee is to oversee the best education that we can provide our town's children. The children all, like Peter said, they all go to the same school. Regardless of who your parents are, they all need to be treated equally and fairly. That being said, town politics should not be involved at the school level. The children should not be discussing it with each other or with teachers or staff or other school committee members. They should be isolated. They should all be treated like they are superstars, and town politics, the parents need to work out on their own. Is it possible? Yes. I am an optimist. I believe anything is possible. I believe that the town will come together and will heal with good leadership.
Thank you. Ms. Balance?
Well, first of all, we have a serious problem with division in this town, and it's unfortunate. It really is. And in order to improve the division or rid ourselves of the division, we have to have people who are willing to do that. Unfortunately, there are groups of people who, under the veils of concerned citizens and on community blogs, misinform other citizens and lie. And until that can be resolved, I think we have some serious issues. Of course, all children deserve it. It's critical. They deserve to be in a community, in a harmonious community, where they feel safe and they're well educated and they can be shoulder to shoulder with their classmates and be educated.
Thank you. And Mr. Cooper?
Yeah, let me start. I think that what I do in the position not to, cause greater division and bring the town back together is try not to make statements like the one that was just made. We can't have sides. I'm not going to be up here and sling arrows at reformers. I'm not going to be up here and sling arrows at concerned citizens. I'm only doing this for children. And I think that's what we have to focus on. Can the town be saved? Absolutely. If you look at some of the atrocities that take place on our planet, even within the United States, I mean, the things that are going on in Rehoboth are relatively small time. People, to some degree, just have to grow up and talk to each other and work things out. But yeah, absolutely it can be saved.
Okay, I'm in charge of the next question, and it's a doozy. Goes to Mr. Cooper. And would you be in favor of limiting the collective bargaining rights of the teachers and school personnel as they've done in Wisconsin and Ohio recently?
I'm super excited I go first for this one. I'm going to say yes. I would be in favor of limiting collective bargaining rights for teachers, and that's not to say that I'm not supportive of unions in general. I think there's examples of unions across the planet where it's a wonderful thing for teachers. Finland's fully unionized and they have one of the best public education systems in all of the world. However, right now in America, unions seem to have served their purpose. And I don't think educational problems in America can be strictly blamed on teachers. I think in general in America, unions need to take kind of a back seat. I think they're a way for lawyers to make an awful lot of money and not necessarily for the people anymore.
The same question will go to Mrs. Balance. Would you be in favor of limiting the collective bargaining rights of the teachers and school personnel as they've done in Wisconsin and Ohio recently?
Yes, I would be. I'm also for merit-based pay. I believe that we need to reward our hardest working teachers, our teachers who are excellent. And last year during our teacher contract negotiations, the fruit of that was only the highest tenured teachers received a raise, Master Step 10. So the lowest paid teachers, the teachers in the middle of the road, received no pay raise. And very saddened to hear that, because they are some of the most hardest working teachers in our district. And I felt it was an injustice to reward those who were getting ready to retire, in all actuality. But yes, I would be in favor of limiting their collective bargaining rights as well as merit-based pay.
Thank you. Mr. Hebda, I'm going to ask you the same question. Would you be in favor of limiting the collective bargaining rights of the teachers and school personnel as they've done in Wisconsin and Ohio recently?
Well, I think union or not, we need to look at where we are today in terms of employment and how, what the standards are in terms of pay raises and benefits. And things have changed quite a bit. You used to get fully paid health benefits, and you used to get a pension, and those things have all gone away. And so in terms of what the teachers and other public servants get, I think it should be in line with what the rest of the private sector is experiencing. If there's benefits on one side, then they're entitled to those same benefits. If times are good and people are getting raises, they're entitled to raises. If times are tough and everybody's having to sacrifice, then they have to put up their share and sacrifice as well. So I think what we want to look for is some type of indicator that gives them a fair and equitable result of raises versus not. Thank you.
And finally, Mrs. Bartholomew, would you be in favor of limiting the collective bargaining rights of the teachers and school personnel as they've done in Wisconsin and Ohio recently?
The short answer is yes. In my many volunteer hours, I have been a victim of the negotiation contract excuse. In many things that I've asked for improvement in our school district, I've been told, oh, that's a negotiable item. Simple things that I would never believe are negotiable are considered negotiable. So I would say that it's an interesting idea to eliminate the union. I do think that merit-based raises have a valid point. I think that the rest of the world does do this. I mean, I don't get to keep my job if I'm not performing well, and I don't get a raise if I'm not performing well. So, yes.
Okay, we're ready for our next question. They're all softballs after that one. Okay, this one's a little long. And it's going to be, we're starting with Miss Balance. There's a sign in the center of Rehoboth claiming that the town is the birthplace of public education in America. Would you be in favor of or against leaving the public regional school district and becoming the first regionalized private or charter school in the country?
Do you mean for K through 8 or the high school or the entire?
It says the regional school districts, I
So
assume
you
high
would
school,
like-
yeah, high school, elementary, and middle school.
And to include Dayton?
Yes.
That's a tough question. It's a very tough question. I think there are a lot of pros about charter schools, but certainly not all children are academically geared to charter schools. And although the benefits to charter schools outweigh the cons, I would have to say that I would have to do my research, see what would best serve the dynamics that are already within our district, our children, our 3,000 children, and perhaps from there, a K through 8 charter school in one town, and then K through 8 regular school in another town, and so we could best serve all populations.
Thank you. I'll repeat the question. I'm going to leave off the first part of the question about the time in the center of town, just to go a little quicker. So we're going to go to Mr. Cooper. Would you be in favor of or against leaving the public regional school district and becoming the first regionalized private or charter school in the country?
I'd be against that. Mainly because I think that's a decision that is far too sweeping to apply to an entire community. You know, while it may work well for some people, I think it's it's too drastic a measure to apply to an entire district. So no, I wouldn't be in favor of that.
Okay. Mrs. Bartholomew, would you be in favor of or against leaving the public regional school district and becoming the first regionalized private charter school in the country?
I'm not one to answer a question without extensive research. I'm kind of a detail person, so my gut says no, but I would like to look at the pros and cons. I do think, like Chris said though, making one sweeping decision for both sides of our district is probably not the best decision.
Okay. Mr. Hebda, would you be in favor?
I think as Chris and Tiffany mentioned, I wouldn't be entirely closed-minded to the opportunity. I would look into what was presented as far as an option goes. But I think in general, the charter schools tend to do well in more of the bigger cities where you have school districts that aren't meeting the needs of the kids, and you might have personnel in those schools who are, whether they're protected through the union or just aren't really pulling their weight. And so the charter school is a way for parents to kind of jumpstart things and get people really engaged who want to be there. I don't think we have that in our schools. I think we have great teachers. I think we have people who want to be there. I don't think that there is a concern about trying to jumpstart things because they are busting their hump to do the best they can. Thank you.